Here's another question from Beth. Here it is. Is God controlling everything? That's a great question. Um, well, oh boy, I've kind of mentioned this a little bit, and I will say that I don't know how all this works. I don't like. I'm not up in God's spot, His perspective, seeing everything. But I'm going to have to say a my best answer is yes and no, or no and yes. I think there is an absolute, an ultimate, that's a good word, control that God is really restraining and allowing. So that's control. You know, a kid who is at home, if the parent allows them to go in the kitchen near a hot stove, a little one or something, and then he watches and he prevents him or her from burning himself. So there's a control factor there, and yet the kid did go in the kitchen, or getting really close to a street and they're about to go out in the street where they could get hurt. There's allowing and there's a permission there, and he may stop. When God, when I say ultimate control, God is ultimately in control. And does he control everything? I don't know exactly how to say this. It's kind of a mystery because I don't understand how it works. But yeah, in a sense he is. In another sense he isn't. And it's self-evident that you're, to much degree, in control of your life. Just go down to little decisions, go to the bigger ones. You chose to watch this video. Thanks. So that's, you choose your way. You choose what you're going to do. So is God doing that? No. You know, you're not a computer. He didn't program you, to make the choices. He programmed you in some ways. There's design in your body and how it works and all that. It's just very cool. But when it comes to self-will and volition and choices, that's you, dear, and that's you, sir. So he's not controlling your choice. You control your destiny. Now, God may be very involved, or he is involved in the destiny, but he bases his choices on your choices as well. He also is control of, ultimately, in the environment. And yet the environment, I don't believe in deism. I believe he's very active, but he also kind of stepped back some. God gave us up, the Bible says in Romans chapter 1. So he gave us up in his judgment and his wrath against all ungodliness and righteousness. For people who are suppressing the truth, he allows them to suppress the truth. And he allowed the earth to be changed, I believe. There's groanings, it says, in the earth and in the creations. All creations groan. And I think there's all these natural disasters and, everything in our world. God is ultimately in control, but he also allows a lot of it because of sin. He stepped back somewhat from it, I believe. And also sometimes he actually does it himself. So sometimes it's him, sometimes it's the devil himself that's working things. You look at Job and what happened to him, and I don't think that's just poetry. I think there's some real facts in those stories. Job really did lose his family. Job did have his 7 sons, 3 daughters just be destroyed by some wind from the east or something really hard, maybe a tornado type thing or a huge storm that destroyed him. So I believe in those stories, and I think what I'm saying is, I don't know exactly how far and how much, but ultimately God is controlling, but not to the point of everything, And then he uses the evil. He allowed evil to happen, and he uses people. So in a way, he's controlling them. Is it merely like a chess board and he just moves them and predetermines and chooses everything? No. Even though he knows our decisions, the Bible says we're elect according to the foreknowledge of God. I'm chosen by God. I don't have an arrogance in that. I'm humbled by it. But the fact is, I'm chosen by God. The elect are the Christians, the people who accept Jesus Christ. Well, how did he choose me? Based on what? That's really a tough question. But first of all, biblically it says we're chosen according to the foreknowledge of God. God knew that I was going to respond, so he chooses me and he pulls me. But I remember the day I accepted Christ, October 5th, 1977. I remember that I had a choice. I felt it. I knew it. I could have stopped or didn't. I had this sense of going out into the aisle to an altar call at the front of a church. And I resisted or hesitated for, I don't know, a minute, 2, 3, whatever. I just kept waiting and just struggling. That was a choice. And did he make me go? No. Yet at the same time, there was a pull to do it, and a attraction, a persuasion that was happening. But I remember I had a choice. So there's like God and me, right there. So, and that's a story of many, many Christians who say, yeah, I didn't say yes right away and all that. And they have lots of stories. Some kicked and went the other way. I think of Jonah. And God controlled that storm when he was in the Mediterranean Sea, the Great Sea in the Old Testament. And Jonah went, and God had him to a point where he jumped. Who jumped out? He jumped out. God protected him, brought him to Nineveh, and God was ultimately in control of that. So, I mean, it's just really a deep question. I don't know if that answers it. Yes, in a sense, God does control everything. 2, no, he doesn't control everything in the details of our will. That's the best I've got right now. Later in time, maybe I'll see it more and I can scrap this video and delete it and do another one. All right, well, good question. If you have any questions, feel free to put them at the comments below, or you can make your comments. I'd love to correspond with you. All right, God bless you.